everybody, and welcome to Simple Hobby Homesteading. I am Jenna, and today we are going to do something a little bit different. First, we're going to have a little bit of coffee. And then we are going to do a video of, okay, so it's like a react video, but it's just kind of my thoughts. What happens to me in 24 hours? So what I do is as I'm scrolling through Facebook or YouTube, or just if I'm bored ever or anything like that, and you're like, oh, when would you ever be bored, Jenna? There are times when I just want some downtime. I'll scroll through some things, and when I come across something, whether it be a recipe, whether it be a cute video, whether it be something I want to send my sons, whether it be something inspirational or something I want to learn, something I want to buy, I will share the video or the product or whatever. Usually it's a video. I will share the video in a text to myself. So I will simply do the share and I will send it as a text to myself. And so I have just thousands and thousands of texts to myself with little embeds of links to watch videos so that I can remember, oh, I want to make that, I want to buy that, I need to send this to the boys, I can forward it to whoever, so on and so forth. So I thought it might be interesting for you to see what my thoughts were the last 24 hours. So we are going to just have you see the videos that I sent to myself over the last 24 hours. And I'm going to do a little explanation with each one so you can understand what I was thinking. And I might even think, why? Why did I send that? But this is only 24 hours old, so anyways. So let's get into it. The first one, I do know what the first one is, and I am going to watch it right along with you. We're going to have a lot of fun together. It's going to be interesting. And it is, I'm going to set it up for you. It is a beaver chewing down a tree. Now, the original video that I saw had writing that said, beavers, when they're chewing down a tree, they will stop and listen for the tree to crack, and so they know whether to run away or whether they need to keep chewing. And so I thought that was just amazing. But the video that I saw, it showed the beaver, chewing, and he'd stop and he'd listen, and then chew, chew, stop and listen. And then the video ended. It was like maybe 15 seconds. The tree never fell. I never heard like the creaking for the beaver to leave. It just stayed at the tree, if I remember right. So I said, this cannot stand. I've got the knowledge now. I need to see it through. I need to see this process through and see how the beaver runs away. What kind of creaking, cracking noise do they acknowledge is the actual tree falling? So I dove into YouTube, didn't have to dive very deep, and found a proper video. So here we go. And I love the way the beaver chews, stops, listens. It's nighttime. He is still working on this tree. And you hear that crack. And he stops and he goes off. He heard the crack. He's like, I think it's going to go. So satisfying to see this tree drop. Just so satisfying. And now here is another beaver. Whether it's the same beaver or not, I'm not sure. And actually, I don't think I need headphones on for this part of things. Yeah, I don't know if this is the same beaver. Who knows? But he's at another tree. I just love watching these beavers. It's going. Now here the beaver runs in the direction, so I was so scared. I was like, oh, but you can see the tree doesn't actually go on the ground. So absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. So the next one is a video from this inspirational speaker. He's a public speaker. His name is Vin Gong, G-I-A-N-G, Jiang Gong, Vin. And I adore him. He's a confident speaker. He's got good advice often. And this video was just awesome. I liked this one. So here it goes. It's advice he got from his mum. And I just love this.
Mum used to always say this to me because I got bullied a lot. I got bullied so much in my younger years. And I remember coming home one day, my mum felt really sorry for me. I was crying. My mum kind of sat me down and she goes, listen, honey, if someone gives you a present and you don't want that present, who does that present belong to? It belongs to the person who gave it to you.
Yeah.
Honey, when you go to school and all these kids give you the gift of negativity, if you don't want that gift, who does that negativity belong to? It belongs to them. When my mum told me that at 12, it added literally no value to me. But the thing is, as I've gotten older, I started to realize, wow, there's so much wisdom in that.
There is. There's just so much wisdom to not accepting the gifts that we don't want to store for ourselves. When people tell you things, when people do things, and the doing things, that sometimes that physically does something to you. So that's maybe a little bit different. But when they say things, if you don't accept that, it still belongs to them. Or if you follow it up with a, say that again. I have found, okay, this is so interesting. I have found when someone says something negative to me, and it doesn't happen very often. I don't know if I'm gifted at de-escalation or if I just am a don't rock the boat kind of person. I don't know. But I don't have a whole lot of negativity coming my way. But a lot of times sometimes they'll say things without really meaning to be negative, or it's just off the cuff, or it's just rude. I've got actually even people I know quite close to me that can be rude, just straight up zero self-awareness, rudeness. So when they say something to me, I often like to say to them, will you say that again? Can you repeat that? And then first they have to go through the Rolodex of what they said and remember what they said, because a lot of times, like I said, it just spurts out. So when they say it again, you often notice a change in their demeanor. Like if someone said to me, this happened to me once. They said, wow, you look like you've put on a little bit of weight. Are you okay? Are you hurt or whatever? Not exercising as much. You've put on a little bit of weight. Are you okay? Now, their intention was probably like, honestly, are you okay? I took it as, you're fat. And I had put on weight, so they weren't speaking untruth. But it was just something that wasn't the nicest thing to say. Could have been worded differently, whatever, just not said at all. But I said to them, can you say that again? And when they said it again, they rephrased it. They led with, are you hurt? Are you okay? Are things going okay? Are you stressed? Because I noticed that you've put on a little bit of weight, and that's not like you. That's not usually, usually you're very athletic. Usually you don't stress eat, and I'm just worried about you. Is everything okay? And they led with the reason that they said the somewhat rude thing. And it was just different. They realized it was different. They realized how I took it was different. And then I said to them, because I still honestly didn't like what they said, and that was on me at that point. But I just told them, I said, you saying that hurt my feelings. But now I understand that you are coming from a place of, concern for me. But it's not a kind thing to bring out. Just asking if I'm stressed, asking if everything's okay, in and of itself is enough. You don't have to tag on you're heavy, you're heavier than usual or whatever. And so I told them how I felt, what they said made me feel, but I didn't hang on to it. I didn't trauma dump. I didn't be like, I've been bullied my whole life, and I haven't. But, I didn't bring back past traumas from people that they had no idea who they were. But I just, I was just like, hey, can you say it again? Would you like to rephrase that? Or, excuse me, that's the way that made me feel. I felt this way when you said that. And they didn't apologize. And this was a close friend. And they didn't apologize. And I really don't think they really needed to. But I did want them to realize how I felt. And just so they knew in the future, maybe not even me, but with someone else, just guard your words a little bit. Think of how you say things, so on and so forth. I said, no, I'm just lazy. I'm not exercising as much. I'm lazy. But anyway, so I love his advice where you don't have to take what people give you. It's hard. And as he said, when he was 12, he didn't even take that advice, didn't think about it. But later on in adulthood, with maturity, he definitely realized how true that is. So if we can help our kids understand it, my goodness, what a step ahead they would have. But if they don't understand it, if they don't embrace it as adults with maturity behind us, maybe we can. You know what I mean? So anyways, that was a great video. So the next video is mental enrichment for dogs. And this one was awesome. The first mental enrichment thing is what got me. And then as she went on and on, there's a few, I was like, I've tried that. Well, here, you'll see.
There are 4 different mental enrichment activities you can do with your dog at home using Open Farm's brand new air-dried food. The first activity is hide and seek. This is one of the best activities you can do with your dog at home.
So hide and seek is absolutely awesome. The problem here at my home, and I don't know how she does this with, I see another dog in the video, you'll see it here in a second, how she does it where the other dog doesn't try to find her as well and just ruin everything or follow her when she goes and hides. Multiple dogs, this is hard to do. So I need to figure out a way either to, but my dogs are laying all in different ways right now, but I need to find a way to either kennel my dogs and do this one at a time or have a couple dogs outside and just work with one-on-one, because one-on-one is so much better unless you can do a group stay and then just let's see who finds you first, which actually would be kind of cool. So I need to try this with my dogs. How it will work videotaping, I'm not sure, but we will see. Maybe I'll have to set up like 2 different cameras, but I want to try this. So here, this is so cool. I love this. So she has treats and she goes and she hides with the treats. So the dog's not really tracking her as much as it's tracking the treats, but it's probably a combination of both.
Because it really works their brain, but also provides them with physical activity. Jack is very motivated to find me because I have this air-dried food with me. He's constantly using his nose to sniff, but also running around.
And just to be clear, this is pretty much a commercial for this air-dried food. We see it in several things as we're going along.
Just trying to find me. He finally did find me. He wasn't even really excited to see me, more so just excited at the fact that he got a handful of this food. We don't have time to do this. This next activity is going to be for you. All you're going to do is take an old towel that you don't really care.
So have any of you done this towel trick? I tried it with my dogs. And she brings up a really, really good point here. Enrichment versus, what does she say? Frustration. I don't know if she calls it frustration, but make sure the activity you're doing is enriching and not frustrating. So the towel thing, when you put the treats in, roll up the towel and tie it in a knot, it becomes frustrating when your dog is really like chewing at the towel rather than, and just getting frustrated rather than, you know, working their brain and their nose to kind of get it undone or whatever. And so just kind of watch your dog with frustration versus enrichment. I did the towel thing and my dogs absolutely tore up the towel. And I could not use the towel again for anything, not even another enrichment game. And so I just ruined a towel. And so the towel thing is not something I will ever do again with my dogs. But some people's dogs, it works great for them.
They're getting slobbery or even torn up. All I'm doing is sprinkling a bunch of the food on the towel and rolling it up. If you have a dog that gets frustrated or maybe isn't that food motivated, you can leave it unknotted, but I'm going to knot it to make it a little bit harder for that.
When I left mine unknotted, and I did try leaving it unknotted, they just picked it up, flung it, and it took maybe 2 seconds. It took me longer to set up than it did for them to go through it. So once again, it really wasn't worth it for me.
Filled dog, not a frustrated dog. So if you're feeling like your dog is just trying to chew the towel to get the food, then you might just want to leave it unknotted. My favorite mental enrichment activities to do with Dak is teaching him a new trick. Not only is teaching your dog a new trick.
So teaching your dog a new trick, I love this, and I am constantly looking to teach my dogs new tricks. And oftentimes what I do is I kind of watch what natural behaviors they give me, and I teach a capture to that natural behavior, and I find a cute way to make it a trick. Like Nikki is a talker, Echo is a talker, so we're working on capturing that speak, that voice kind of thing, which I love. Athena loves to go like in circles, so I'm looking at doing a lot of circles, like circus dog circle tricks with Athena. Athena's also a cuddler, big time cuddler. So I'm looking at doing a lot of her with her head on the shoulder or hugs or things like that. Nikki loves to use her paws. So I'm looking at a lot of things with her using her paws for tricks and things like that. Echo is a quick mover and she likes to go under, crawl, things like that. So I'm looking at tricks like that for Echo. So capturing different things is really great. And I like this lady. She's just going around a post. It doesn't really have to serve a purpose other than engaging the brain, adding to your dog's repertoire of things that they can do, and I call them brain games. You want as many brain games as possible to wear out your dog's mind. I love it. And this page is called Beck Skaggs, and I believe Beck is the dog. I believe that's the dog's name. And so I think with this one, I kept watching videos. After I saw this one, I kept watching videos. So if there's more videos after this one, I think I kept watching videos.
Mental stimulation. It's also great in helping build a bond between you and your dog. This next one is kind of similar to a Snuffle mat, but if you have a dog that likes to forage, this one's definitely for them. All I'm doing is taking his basket full of toys and sprinkling in the food. If you don't have a toy basket, you can also just use a cardboard box. Let me know in the comments if your dog liked these enrichment activities.
So the toy bin with the treats in there, I do that every time I leave. Now that we're starting to have Nikki and Athena be in the living room loose, we have Nikki and Athena in the living room loose, and then we have Echo over in the sunroom area separate, just because Echo, she tends to be a stress peer where we have to have just a little pad where it's like 50-50 now. When she hears the vehicle start and she's alone in the house, she will stress pee. We've worked and worked and worked on it, and she does it right on the pad, but it's like a 50-50 now, and she is 8 years old, and we have worked on it since she was a puppy. And we've tried, trust me, I've tried everything. And so we just acknowledge that this is just, and Huskies are known for being, having some stress habits. And so Echo stays where we've got tile, because that little pad goes on the tile. And pads, let me just tell you this real quick. Do not buy the puppy pads from like the store, Tractor Supply, PetSmart, whatever. Get the pads for humans that they're called bed pads. They're just rectangles, waterproof pads that go on like a bed for incontinence or whatever, and use those. Much cheaper. They don't have a scent to attract urination, so it doesn't establish a bad habit. It just helps if there already is some little habit that has been established. But yeah, it doesn't encourage that bad habit by having a scent that lures your dog in to pee there, which a lot of the puppy pads that you buy in the store do have. And it's much cheaper as well. And so, what was I talking about that? Oh, anyways, Nikki and Athena are in the living room, and we have a huge toy bin, and I'll show you. And they're both, Nikki more than Athena, but they love to find stuff in stuff. And so I put treats in that toy bin, but the only thing I have to understand is when I get home, toys will be strewn about the entire living room, but that's fine. But yeah, we definitely use this one, and it's really cool. So I just kept going with the videos from this person, and their next one was about a training room. And I was just like, oh, this training room is one that I definitely want. I was envious of their training room, and I'm trying to find it now. Oh, I can't find where it is, but the video is just, they talk about crates, they talk about toys, they talk about leashes, and it's just, someday I want a space that I have my training room. I think I want to turn my barn, because my barn has a concrete floor, I think I want to turn my barn into a training room. The only problem is I have the goats come into the barn one area, the pigs come into the barn in another area, and I just worry that my dogs or other dogs that I bring would just be so distracted. It would be so hard to train in there. And I kind of want to set myself up for success as much as I can. So I just need to build another pole barn. That's what I need to do, another training area. But I love this video of a training room, and it was just one that I was coveting for a hot second. So I was just like, oh, to have that. All right, and so this next video is this I think it's called Pet Geek Food Feeder. And I love the concept. I might still get one to have when I'm here with my dogs, because it's some great exercise, but I just picture my dogs picking up the main food part, rolling it over and just pawing at it and digging in it and getting into it just to get all the food. They would be too lazy to go push the button. I don't know, we would have to see, or one would be like, you push the button, I'll stay here at the food. With multiple dogs, it's just, I have a feeling mine would be kind of crazy. But the video in and of itself and the concept of it is actually really cool. So here's that. Yeah, it's called Pet Geek. And you fill it up with their food. And so this is an enrichment of meal time. So they push the button far away. You have to train them how to do that first. And it gets food. So they go back and they eat it. And then they go back and push the button. And then go back and eat it. And it's cool. neat. It's neat. All right, so the next video is calling off prey, which just means that you're doing a recall. They get distracted by something, a squirrel, a critter, a person, whatever. They run towards that person. You want to be able to recall, have them come back to you very quickly. She's using some kind of e-collar. She has to be using some kind of e-collar because no dog would turn on a dime unless you're talking about a Malinois or a German Shepherd or something like that, which they often train with e-collars. And e-collars are like the shock collar, the vibrator collar, the tone collar. And so that's, in my opinion, that's the only thing. And she's got a receiver too, so you can see that she's probably using that. I have never used an e-collar. I want to try to train my dogs to have this kind of awesome recall without. And I'm curious to see if I can. My Husky, I don't think I can. I think she's just too instinctual. The German Shepherds, I want to try. But anyways, this is just a neat video to show you what is possible with an e-collar, which I kind of like. So the dog's peeing, and all of a sudden he sees a bird. So right when she said the here, after she said here, she did do the button for the e-collar, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's got an e-collar. And it came right back. And really what it does, it's not really it's not really the recall. It's not coming to the here. It's more coming to the tone or the shock. And it's jolting it out of that prey drive, and then she has done some training where when it comes back to her, it gets a treat. So it gets that automatic snap jolt off of the prey drive, and then it kind of stops for a second, and then has the habit of coming back to her, which is great. This is, in my opinion, a proper use of an e-collar. Not totally against them. I just want to see what can be done without one. I'm just curious. All right, in this next video, I watched for a whole hot second, and then I stopped. It's resetting your house on Sunday, resetting a dog house on Sunday. And this person obviously lets their animals up on the couch because you see the dog blankets and everything all over. I am not about that life. The furniture is for people. Dogs can sit next to me. They can be pet by me while I'm sitting. But then again, I have big dogs. If I had a little dog, I bet I would let them on my furniture, on my lap, in my lap. I bet it would be a different story. But for big dogs, in my opinion, they just don't have a place on furniture. They just don't. And so I watched it for a hot second and said, this is not for me. This is not my life. All right, next are these little Chia orange slices that I am so excited. We're going to watch the video, and then we're going to do it together. We're going to make these. I'm so curious to see how they come out. I got orange ones. I've also got grapefruit, to try grapefruit ones as well. So we're going to try this, and I am so excited. So we're going to watch the video together first so we all know what we're doing, and then we're going to try it. I'm excited.
Introducing Orange Chia Bites. It's the perfect guilt-free treat. Just mix fresh orange juice with chia seeds and pour it in a mold and freeze it into discs, and finally dip it in rich dark chocolate. If you like this, follow for more.
Hey everybody, we just saw the Chia video, or Chia orange bite video or whatever, and let me just show you something right now that is awesome. There is a ponytail holder in my hat. It's like a little hole up high in my hat that is a ponytail holder. That's incredible. That is technology that is beyond my wildest dreams. So we are going to make, well, now I gotta wash my hands because I touched my hair. Hold on. Okay, we're back. No more dirty digits. Okay, so in the video it says, or it shows him doing the juice of an orange, and in the little, I checked the little show notes, and in there it does say one large orange, like the juice of one large orange, 150 grams. I'm curious to see how much is 150 grams. So we're going to juice an orange. We're going to measure it. I think that's more than one orange because it says to fill 6 of these little things. And I'm going to try the grapefruit one. So 150 grams of orange juice, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, 100 grams of dark chocolate, 20 grams of coconut oil. You mix the dark chocolate with the coconut oil. That's supposed to make it smoother, set up better. I don't know. But first we've got to juice the oranges, juice the grapefruit. We're going to make grapefruit ones and orange ones. And because that juice and chia seed needs to sit for 15 minutes, I'm guessing to make it like gelatinous. I don't know. So I have this wonderful lemonade. Oh, you can't see it because it's plugged in. This lemonade, I'm trying to get it in the screen. There we go. Lemonade maker. And I'm just using the top of it because it's really handy to juice with. So we are going to try juicing with this lovely juicer lemonade. I know they've got like
handheld juicers, which is great, but I'm going to use this wonderful thing. Oh, is it not plugged in? I tried to turn it on. So loud. 1 orange, the juice of 1 orange. How are we going to measure? Hold on. I'm going to put this on the scale, I guess. I'm just going to directly put it on the scale. Yeah, we're just going to directly put it on the scale. There. I'm going to turn on the scale. Make sure this sucker's on. Yeah. Oh, I need mode. I need grams. Come on, grams. There we go, grams. And 150 grams. We'll see if that's 1 orange. We'll see. I'm picking it up so that I don't put pressure on the scale. I don't want to break my scale. Okay, actually there's a lot of juice that comes out of an orange. And there's 1/2. There's the other 1/2. I need 150 grams. See, I have 95 grams. So I still need more. So 1 orange. Maybe if it's a huge orange, I'm going to do probably another 1/2, maybe. We'll see. Alright, let's see how many that is. 170. Yeah, and there's some pulp in here, so that's probably accounts for some. I gotta get a paper towel. So you time me how long this is taking us. We're gonna see, is this worth it? So, okay, so that's great. Now we get to play cleanup with this somehow. We're gonna clean that out to do grapefruit. Okay, so I have my lovely, what do I say, 170? It's supposed to be 150, that's fine. We are going to add 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. Like I said, there's some pulp in the top of that, so I bet you we are actually closer to 150. So 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. The other day I dropped this. I was making a smoothie. I dropped this container of chia seeds, and I would say probably a good 1.5 cups of chia seeds went all over my floor. It was so sad. All right, let's get a stirry thing, some sort of stirry thing. We're going to stir that up, and then we got to let this sit for 15 minutes to let these chia seeds hydrate maybe, or make it gelatinous. Do what chia seeds do. You all know what chia seeds do, right? They make things like gelatinous. That's why you can do like chia seed pudding or something like that, they call it. Makes like liquid into a pudding. Okay, so there's that one is for the orange. Now let's do, we gotta clean this out. Let's do grapefruit next. I love fresh grapefruits. I started eating fresh grapefruits with my grandma Werner when I was a kid, and she had a grapefruit spoon, which was a spoon that had like little sharp, I don't know, how would you describe a grapefruit spoon while still making it okay to give it to a kid? It had like little sharp teeth on it that dug into the grapefruit really well. It was so awesome. And I have looked everywhere for grapefruit spoons in the store, and I can't find them anywhere. And so I might just have to order grapefruit spoons. I don't know how often I actually use them, though. But I would like at least 1 grapefruit spoon. Maybe next time I'm visiting Grandma, I'll steal one out of her cabinet. I can't do that out of her drawer. That would be wrong. Because then what would she do? I don't know if she still even eats grapefruits. Grandma, do you still eat grapefruits? I bet you do. Okay, I can't get... I'm going to rinse this in the water. Let's just do that. Isn't that amazing what actually washing something does? I'm like trying to get it all out with that paper towel. Look it. There we go. All good. I'm going to wipe out this. We don't want orange in our grapefruit. It won't matter that much, I don't think. I wonder how the grapefruit ones will taste. I'm excited. Alright, so now let's do grapey fruit. So this is going to still be the same. Now this should be one grapefruit because these grapefruits are huge. Oh, looks so good. I love a good grapefruit. Oh, how I love a good grapefruit. Oh, it's not clicking. So lift it up a little bit so I'm not pushing pressure on the scale. Better just to squeeze this one. It doesn't, it's really big. I'm gonna try something here. Ah, my bowl is spinning. Alright, got half the grapefruit. Any even going in there? This is harder. The grapefruit is so hard to do. It's so big. I think I got a lot of juice though. Alright. Oh my gosh, that has made such a mess. Such a mess. It's okay though. We're going to see so many seeds. So many of the seeds are in there. Alright, we do have to put this back on to get the full measurement. 239, 240. That doesn't seem right. Here, we're going to remeasure. Ooh, because we gotta strain out the seeds, so we're gonna remeasure into another thing here. Hold on. That's a lot of juice. Seems like a lot of juice. So let's remeasure. And we'll use a strainer. Oh. In the video, this guy did all of this so very quickly. So we're looking for 150 grams. I'm going to get exactly 150 grams. Oh, that smells so good. I love fresh grapefruit juice. Ooh, that's 150. All right. 150 grams of grapefruit juice. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. 1, 2. All right, and now we clean up. We clean up all the stuff. Alrighty, it's been 15 minutes, and I thought these would be a lot more gelatinous. You can see the orange one here. I mean, they're getting more gelatinous, but yeah, not as much as I thought they would. And then the grapefruit one, it's about the same, a little less gelatinous than the orange one. But now we're just supposed to put these in these round silicone mold, pour these in those, and then freeze them. And after we freeze them and they come out of the freezer, then we dip them in chocolate, and then we can either keep them refrigerated or frozen. So we'll see. We're going to put them in the freezer now. And yeah, so I'm just going to pour these in 6 individual, and they're just going to be like little discs. So it's not that much in each. In fact, I might have put too much in that one even. We'll see. And these are just little molds that I got off Amazon. I'll put them in the show notes, details down below, in case you want to do this little thing. Okay, so yeah, these are, you can hear my dog groaning in the background, and it looks like my son just texted me. Sorry, sorry for all the details, all the dinging and stuff. But okay, so yeah, they fill up about 1/3 of the way, which is pretty good. That's not bad. And just keeping on going until we get it all in. These are going to be interesting. I like chia seeds. Chia seeds are really great fiber. There's other benefits for, I'm going to have to look up all the benefits for chia seeds. Okay, the orange one is done. What does that taste like? Tastes like slimy orange chia seeds. A little slimy. All right. Ooh, we're filling up the grapefruit one. Okay, what I didn't think about is putting these on something to get them in the freezer. Am I going to be able to pick them up to put them in the freezer, or are they just going to spill all over? We'll see. I got to somehow get these in the freezer. And I just thought about where I'm going to put these in the freezer. I have no room in the kitchen freezer. Oh, I know though. I need to take out, you guys want to, okay, we're going to let these sit for just a minute here while I get something out of the freezer to get these to go in the freezer. Let me show you. Alright, so I have this chicken broth that I freeze in these little, I think they're 1 cup. 1 cup. Yeah, 1 cup. 1 cup portions, I should say. And then I put 2 per a Ziploc bag. And these are so awesome for when I'm doing my collagen in the morning, for when I'm making anything with chicken broth, bone broth base. So good. And I had just made a batch of chicken broth yesterday, so these have been in the freezer since then. So I'm going to pop these out, and then I will have all the room for my little chia treats. Oh, they are not frozen all the way yet. I put them in when they were hot. These are not frozen. Oh, what am I going to do now? Those are not frozen. I just popped one out. I felt this one. Oh, I don't trust that it's completely frozen on the inside. Okay, I need to put these back in the freezer. All right, plan C. Let's just do another plan. Okay, I am going to put this back on the base of my freezer. I do that because I can't believe I flipped that over. The bottoms of these are better if they're on this rather than like the grate of the freezer. So I'm going to put this back in. All right, so like I said, plan B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these, the orange juice one. The orange juice one, how am I going to tell them apart? I don't know. The orange juice one will just be towards the back. So, okay, the orange juice one, I'm just going to put it on top of here like that and put it in the freezer. All right, so now what I'm wondering is, can I get this one the other way, the grapefruit juice one? Okay, I didn't spill it. Yay me. Can I go in horizontally? Let's see. Not horizontally, but yes. No, maybe. Hold on. Okay, I got everything in there, and I have this one last thing of goat's milk in this Tupperware. I say Tupperware butter container, and I need to somehow fit this in the freezer. Okay, I did it. I got everything in the freezer. I feel bad for the next person that opens the freezer. We're going to just keep these out and have them ready. Hopefully that chicken broth will be completely frozen and ready. I put it in when it was piping hot, so that's probably why it's not done yet. So, all right, next step, we will pull those out in, it says 1 to 2 hours. I've got a bunch of stuff going on, so I might leave them a little bit longer than 1 to 2 hours, and we'll see though. But you will be back when we dip them in chocolate. This is a bit of a laborious process to get a whole 12 of those. If they're super duper good, that'll be one thing. I just wonder how much they will gelatinize, like, because they say you can keep them in the fridge, and will they be liquidy or will they continue to gelatinize in the freezer? I don't know. We're going to see. I'm kind of excited, so we'll be back. Hey everybody, it is the next day, and I just had a ton of stuff to do last night, so I did not get a chance to take out our chia bites after letting them sit for just an hour or two. So we have let them sit for, I would say, close to 12, 13 hours. So let's see really what they're like now. And I am guessing as well that that chicken broth has frozen by now too, and we can put it in our Ziploc bags. You can hear the dogs in the background whining, talking. They think I'm talking to someone. So, and those chia bites are sitting on top of the chicken broth, so that's why I'm just going to bring it all out together. And we'll put up those chicken broth in the bag and the chicken broth blocks in the bag. And then we'll get the chia bites done. Alrighty, here's our first ones. And I think these are the orange ones. I'm going to have to get the other ones out in a second and see. But let's get this chicken broth in its Ziploc bags quick. You get bonus episodes, bonus tasks. Yeah, these blocks are definitely frozen now, thank goodness. That was funny when we tried to take them out the other day and they were still not frozen. So, and I've got more broth that I'm going to put in here, so I am not going to wash these. I'm just going to put more broth in, stick them back into the freezer, and I stick them in a Ziploc bag with 2 blocks in there each. A lot of times when I'm doing rice or something like that, that is a good amount to have. When I do shrimp scampi, it's just absolutely perfect. So, yay! I usually do rice, 2 cups of rice for 3 cups of chicken broth. And then I have about a cup after that, and I usually make shrimp scampi because I add a bit of chicken broth to my shrimp scampi, and then I have some chicken broth left over also for my morning collagen that I do in chicken broth. So, I mean, this block right here, these 2 blocks, this bag of chicken broth will make 2 suppers and a morning cup of collagen for me, which is absolutely perfect. So we're going to set that aside. We'll fill those in a minute. And we've got the next batch out, and see, these are the grapefruit. These are the grapefruit ones. These are the orange ones. So let's get this chicken broth bagged up so we can get this out of the way. And I try to make almost all of my chicken broth in the winter and either freeze dry it or freeze it. That way I can use it for the summer. I make my chicken broth in the crock pot behind me, and I don't like the crock pot to heat up the kitchen in the summer. And so if I can make almost all of my chicken broth through the fall and the winter and the very early spring, it not only warms up my kitchen, but it gives me a huge stock of chicken broth. I do a lot of freeze drying my chicken broth now because it's a very shelf stable and low space taking up. It doesn't take up too much space. Space saver, I guess that would be the best way to say it. And so yeah, I freeze dry a lot of my broth now, which is awesome too, because if you lose power for any reason in a storm or something like that, you don't have to worry about your entire bounty of chicken broth going bad. I absolutely adore that. Alright, time to wash the hands after having them all chicken brothy. Okay, so now let's get on to what you're here for, the chicken bites. Or chicken bites. The chia bites. Chicken broth, chia bites, chicken bites, not chicken bites. So we are doing the chia bites. We have grapefruit juice and we have the orange juice ones with the chia seeds, and they look pretty solid, which is awesome. So I'm going to do 2 things. They say do dark chocolate with coconut oil. So I have these beautiful Ghirardelli dark chocolate wafers that I do use for my chocolate covered strawberries and chocolate covered things. And these harden really, really well. They're already tempered and they harden really well without any kind of refrigeration or coconut oil added. But I'm not sure if they want you to add the coconut oil for additional health benefits. So I'm going to add the coconut oil just in case. We're going to do 1 batch with the dark chocolate Ghirardelli wafers. And then we're also going to do 1 batch with just regular milk chocolate chips with the coconut oil. So I'm just curious to see how they do. Now, it calls for, the recipe was just 6 little discs, and so I'm going to do the exact recipe, 100 grams of dark chocolate with 20 grams of coconut oil. I'm going to do it in this little bowl to start out. So let's go our 100 grams, and I've got some of this that's already been melted down and I didn't use it all, so I am going to use this to do my 100 grams, and I can add some wafers. It's the same exact thing. I just, I didn't use it all, and so I just put it in a Ziploc bag. So I need, what did it say, 100 grams of dark chocolate. And I might have to add some of the wafers because I have just 1 big solid chunk that I don't want to try to, oh, I can break off some of it. Let's see here. There we go. Use my counter. We're up to 31 grams already. This chunk will do well. We're up to 64, 65. can't really break this chunk up anymore, so we'll add some wafers. 77, 90, oh, 103. That's the nice thing, I can take just a wafer out. 99. Are we calling that good, or should we add one more wafer? 100. We'll just add one more wafer. All right, I'm gonna heat the coconut oil with the chocolate. And whenever you're heating chocolate in the microwave, remember just 30-second bursts. 30 seconds, stir, stir, stir. 30 seconds, stir, stir, stir. Oftentimes you don't need more than 1:30, which is nice. So I'm just gonna zero out my scale, and I need 20 grams of coconut oil. So that's actually not that much coconut oil, although coconut oil is a very light oil. And mine is hard, of course, because it's cooler here in the house. Welcome to fall. I need 20 grams. I'm at 19, so just a tiny bit more. Oh, it went to 20 while I wasn't looking. 20. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, and we're going to let's do the orange ones with the dark chocolate, because orange with dark chocolate is actually a good combination. I prefer milk chocolate, but dark chocolate is supposed to have more health benefits, so let's go with that. So I'm going to microwave this on 30-second bursts. Now while that's heating up, in the video they had like these tongy things to, dip the discs in. I don't have those long tongs, so we're just going to use a fork, and we'll kind of get it from the bottom. We'll get it on dunked in the chocolate, get it nice and covered over the top, and then we'll scoop out at the bottom and kind of get the chocolate off with a fork. I think that'll work out fine. All right, so you see the first 30 seconds, it has not melted hardly at all, but we're still going to stir, stir, stir. We're still going to stir a bunch, and that helps avoid hot spots as well with the chocolate in the bowl. So after we did a stir, 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 look, we actually do have some good melting happening. So let's go another 30 seconds. Now as I'm looking at that doesn't seem like a ton of chocolate, but so these are nice and shallow, so it's not like they're very thick at all. We'll see. We'll see here in a moment. Now they're already thawing a bit. I'm gonna stick the grapefruit ones back in the freezer for a hot second, because we're gonna do the orange ones and I don't want these to thaw out. So you can see the second 30 seconds, we have the coconut oil is kind of on the top, separated a bit, and it's very melty. So I think we will not need, no, it's very melty. We will not need another 30 seconds. Let me show you up close. Keep stirring until it's nice and smooth. I really don't want to heat this anymore. I don't want to scald it. I can already feel that the bottom of the bowl is quite warm, and it is getting smooth. I just have to have patience. I'm taking my scraper and I'm kind of pushing those lumpy clumps up against the side. You want a nice smooth coating. All right, this actually makes more chocolate than I thought. This bowl is absolutely perfect. You want a bowl that's not big because you don't want to spread out. You want it to be able to be nice little well for that little disc to sit in and get chocolate over the top of it. So I'm going to try to do this one-handed because I'm holding my camera, my phone camera. So they have thawed just a bit. You can see how thick they are. They're about an inch, 3/4 of an inch thick, and they're starting to melt a bit. So I'm going to put that in there. We're going to kind of dunk it in. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to flip it again. And then we're going to, sorry, I got the camera. Ooh, there's a bubble. Get that bubble off. So it's already starting to harden, which is awesome. Oh, this is hard to get out. Hard to get out with a fork. Now there's going to be like a lot. Oh! There's going to be a lot of chocolate on this one. It's not pretty, but it's because I'm doing it with one hand. I think if I have another hand free here in a second, it'll be better. All right, let's get this on the parchment paper. Excuse me, on the wax paper. Okay, so now I've got two hands to do it. I'm not filming anymore with the up close. So I think I'm just going to do one flip. And that is making the chocolate kind of wet. It's melting just a bit. And you don't want wet chocolate. You just don't want wet chocolate. As soon as your chocolate gets wet, ooh, bad things happen. So, because these are melting slightly, my chocolate is getting quite moist. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, so you got to work quickly. And I've only done two. I almost want to stick these back in the freezer for a second. I'm glad I put the grapefruit ones in the freezer. So they are getting less and less pretty as we go. That's fine. Just kind of scraping some of the chocolate off. That chocolate is hardening so quickly. So quickly. In fact, I don't think there's going to be, because it hardens so quickly, the bottom is kind of staying on the fork when I slide it off, and I'm not sure how much chocolate's going to be on the bottom of these. Oh, and they're thawing. Okay, one thing, you want to keep these in the freezer just till the last second. You don't want the discs coming out of the freezer early at all. We should not have had those sitting out while we were doing the chicken broth and all the things. So, when you know, you know. Knowing is half the battle. We're going to just clean this up around the side. I'm going to try to scrape the chocolate off with it. Oh, this is so messy. So messy. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know how refrigerated this would work, because it says you can refrigerate these discs, these Chia bites, instead of refreezing them. But I just think that they're not going to stay. I think it's just going to be, you know, the shell of the chocolate is not going to provide enough, because number one, my chocolate on the bottom, oh, they're getting worse as they go. The chocolate on the bottom is coming off. Oh, this is such a mess. You'll see here in a second. I'm going to get a close-up video. This last one, we're just going to try drizzling. Yeah, they didn't. Oh, this is a mess. This is just interesting. I don't know. It's going to be just... Oh, I wish you could... Here, let me scooch this back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm really just pouring the chocolate on top of this now. This last one is not going to be a good one. But I'm going to use the same bowl for my next one. So, we will try... See, the chocolate's just sliding off. I don't know. Alright. This is just... It gets worse. You're going to see. I'll get a very good close-up. It gets worse. I'm going to wash my hands, but... The first one looks very cute. Let's show you. That's the first one. It looks cute. They get worse and worse. That's the last one. Oh, in this first one, curious to see how much of the chocolate. Okay, but look how moist that is. There's no way you can keep these in the fridge. You're going to have to refreeze them. So these are absolutely going back in the freezer. They just have to. They have to be, in my opinion, they have to be stored in the freezer even. So we're going to stick them back in the freezer. Yeah, the chia seeds are melting, or not the chia seeds, the orange juice is melting. They're becoming a mess. Oh, this one with the tons of chocolate is going to be delicious. But yeah, they really have to be stored in the chocolate with orange and chia seeds. That's a dream. We'll try one of these in a second. I'm going to put them back in the freezer. Okay, so the takeaway is we're going to do the grapefruit ones and we're going to do them better. We know now what we need to do, what we don't need to do. I'm going to get some new wax paper to put them on. Alrighty, so we are going to do our grapefruit ones. They are still in the freezer because we are learning our lesson. So I need 100 grams of chocolate and 20 grams of coconut oil. So I'm using the simple, and this is, I guess, the cheaper version probably, for sure, because chocolate chips are not expensive. So we are using milk chocolate chips, 100 grams instead of the dark chocolate. 102. There we go, 100. And then we need 20 grams of the coconut oil. Let's zero that scale out. Coconut oil is a staple you should all have in your pantry, of course. Too much. Got to shave off a little bit. Oh, there we go. 120. Alrighty. So, let's get this all melted. 30-second bursts. And you can see after the first 30 seconds, those chocolate chips are starting to melt. That coconut oil is definitely starting to melt. I'm just going to give it a good stir. And we're going to put it in for another 30 seconds. You just do not want to burn your chocolate at all. Alright, and I did 25 seconds. I just was feeling that was going to burn if I did a full 30. So even 5 seconds make a big difference. And don't get discouraged and think that you need to plop it back in the microwave because you've got clumps. Just keep stirring for a bit. It is better to err on the side of caution as far as heat than to burn your chocolate and have to start all over. And chocolate chips notoriously are more difficult to get to melt completely. The Ghirardelli melting wafers are meant to melt smooth and pretty quickly. These chocolate chips are not as meant to do that. Sometimes even they've got a coating on them that prevents them from melting well because you want them to kind of stay and keep their form in like chocolate chip cookies and stuff. It's looking nice and smooth now. Alrighty, now it is time to get the little discs out of the freezer. We've kept these ones, the grapefruit ones, in the freezer until the last second. I hope that does us well. We're learning. We are absolutely learning. Okay, we've got our grapefruit discs. There they are. And let's just get going. Let's just do this. So, let's get the first one. I'm just going to dunk it in. I think I'm just going to try flipping it one time. Flipping it one time. Oh, I didn't get very much chocolate. Okay, there we go. Flipping it one time. Oh, the chocolate just is not wanting to stick to the bottom. Chocolate doesn't stick to anything moist, and these are just a little bit moist. And it's not wanting to stick, especially on the bottom. That's why I think we're just going to have to keep them in the freezer until we're ready to eat them. Because it just does not want to stick on the bottom. And the chocolate just melts them so quickly once they go in this chocolate. So I don't know. That dude that's on the video, must be like some sort of weird expert in these things. They might be super good and they don't have to be pretty maybe. We'll see. So I feel like I'm using more chocolate per disc on these grapefruit ones the way I'm doing it. It's just not really wanting to stick super duper well. See? I'm almost just having to scrape that chocolate on there. Yeah, I've definitely used more chocolate than the other ones. So I'm going to have to scrape some chocolate. These last two discs are going to have very minimal chocolate. Oops. And now that I'm looking at these, I wonder if I got them mixed up, that this is the orange and the other one was the grapefruit. We'll see. When we bite into them, we'll definitely see. Okay, so my last one, unlike the other ones, my last one's going to have very little chocolate on it, I think. My last disc. See, you almost just got to paint it on. And it doesn't want to stick. It gets worse. That one does not want to stick at all. So we will just clump. Yeah. These are just going to have to go back in the freezer. Once again, the first one looked really pretty. Really nice. As we went on, they got worse and worse. So as you can see, the first ones actually look like the video. Second, third, fourth, worst. But we're going to see how they taste. Let me wash up and let's taste one. We'll taste one of the ones that are already in there. We'll stick these in the freezer just to get cold again. If these are not absolutely incredible, obviously they're not worth it. And I was just trying to think on what would be similar to this, but so much easier. And I've got an idea. Hold on. Okay, so let's get these in the freezer. Should have even washed my hands. They're going to be so messy. Okay, so we got the orange ones back out of the freezer. What I think of the orange ones. I kind of want to keep a picture of like the really nice ones to use as maybe a thumbnail. So I'm going to take one that's not as pretty. I think this was the third one done. And I'm going to try it. Definitely, oh. I was going to say definitely the orange. I think it's the orange. How can I not know the difference between grapefruit and orange? Might be grapefruit. They're like AC, They're like icicles. There's no way you could keep these in the refrigerator and they wouldn't drip all over. They're like, and they make the chocolate icky. They're like, these are the grapefruit. Oh, now I'm wondering. Hold on, I gotta get one of those other ones out and taste them. How do I not know the difference between grapefruit and orange? I gotta get one of those other ones out and taste it and just see. I'm gonna put these back in the freezer because I'm gonna eat just one. Hold on. So I got these out. They were in there for just a minute. I'm embarrassed that I can't tell the difference surely, like for sure. Hold on. And my husband's in the living room and he's probably thinking, oh my goodness, Shanna, you've been to culinary schools. You should know the difference. And I should. Hold on, let me bite this one. Unfortunately, all I taste is chocolate. This one's the orange. The second one I did was the orange one. Yes, not nearly as strong of a flavor. Now I taste 100% the difference. Grapefruit, the first one was 100% grapefruit. And it's got a much stronger flavor. I like it better than the orange. In the orange, really all I taste is chocolate. And that does have a little thicker shell, but not much of a thicker shell. They're still very icy. And because I'm going to have to keep them in the freezer, they're going to be icy. Which makes them taste very dessert-like. Which is good. But it's not like how ice cream is creamy cold and frozen. These are like icy cold, like icy shards, which I like. If you were super sensitive, like your teeth were super sensitive, you wouldn't like these. The chia seeds are not hard at all, but I don't taste any like gelatinous texture. It's just icy with a nice hard shell of chocolate. So I just finished one, and I would be 100% content with one. This isn't something that you would eat like 2 or 3. No. You get the sweetness. The grapefruit really gives you some nice tartness. I am going to eat this orange one just so it doesn't go to waste. So subtle. You don't taste the orange at all. And maybe it's because that grapefruit was so strong. What I was thinking as an alternative to be easier, less messy, if I just mixed grapefruit juice or orange juice with chia seeds, put it in the fridge, and then just drizzled some chocolate over top of it, like in little serving bowls. I've got the little, like little creme brulee bowls, and just mixed the citrus with the chia seeds, put it in the fridge, or I guess in the freezer. I could do either. And then just drizzled some chocolate over top of it, and you can even do it before it's set up if you want, because it doesn't really matter if the chocolate gets in there. That'd even be better maybe. But either make like a shell on top or just drizzle it in if some mixes in, no big deal. And then just eat it like a little personal serving. It'd be less messy because you could do it with a spoon, eat it with a spoon. This I have to eat with my fingers. Definitely have to wash my hands afterwards. If I just refrigerated it, it'd be almost like a pudding kind of thing. I like the iciness of this. I like in the video it says to let it thaw. If you take it out of the freezer, let it thaw a bit. I wouldn't. It's going to be a messy, runny, liquidy mess from the orange juice or the grapefruit juice, because the chia seeds don't make it as gelatinous as I thought they would. I suppose you could add more chia seeds maybe, but we added a bunch. And so that dessert, I'll have to try that dessert as a little bit of a tweak on this. It's a good way to get like a vitamin C shot with some great chia seeds. The chocolate's good. And then also I feel like this is too much chocolate. The grapefruit was great because it kind of offset the strongness and the acidity of the grapefruit. The orange, any amount of chocolate is too much because that orange just isn't as strong of a flavor. So I would like less chocolate for the orange. Is this a dessert I would do again exactly like this? Nope. Too much trouble, too much mess. I got 12 days of desserts. I'd only eat like one of these a day probably. I don't know. I think I would do my twist. The citrus with the chia seeds with chocolate drizzled on top. Or chocolate cover, it'd be easier to eat. This is so messy. But that's it. I like it. It wasn't bad. Now I don't really have any use for these molds. I'm sure I'll find a use for them. But yeah, it's not bad. That's good. All right, we're done. Y'all do what you can with what you have, where you are, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.